Hello, welcome back to In the Shed with Chris. This is episode 2 and I'm going to show you in this episode how I made this lacewood bowl dish. Hello, welcome back. My name's Chris. This is In the Shed with Chris, episode 2. Today I'm going to be turning this blank of lacewood here. I don't know if you can see there. It's about 2 inches thick and the bowl is about 15 inches in diameter. It's the first time I've ever turned anything this big before. I just bought this new lathe, well, second hand, new to me, off someone off eBay. I've got the old lathe in the background there. That's going soon to someone else, hopefully. I've nearly trued up the outside of the bowl, or the dish this will be. It's just a little flat spot there. So I'll just carry on making another pass or two and that should be done, and then I'll clean up the face of the bowl and then I'll start shaping it. Right, so I've cleaned up this outside face, the circumference of the bowl. The dish. I'm just going to come around here and clean up the face. This was mounted on a screw chuck. I've got a little washer on there because it was too long, it would have come out the bottom. And then I'll turn a tenon or a recess and then I'll mount it, spin it around and put it in the chuck. Just using the wing of the tool here in a shear scraping motion. Right, so if I set it to 25mm radius, that'll be a 50mm diameter. You can see that ring there. I'll go to the outside of that, make a small recess, and then I'll leave a foot. So 5-inch foot, that's 2.5-inch radius from the centre. Mark there. So I have to recess in that one, and then that'll be the foot, and then I'll start shaping from here outwards. I'll cut this out a little bit so it sits nice and flat. Alright, for this bit I'm just going to use my square nose scraper. What I'm going to do is use, if anyone remembers from last time, my upcycled screwdriver dovetailing tool. So what I do here is, this will be parallel with the bottom and the end will be pretty much at the right angle for the dovetail on my chuck jaws, this way. So I just come in at the corner and go in and keep it flat at the bottom, so you can see it'll be about here somewhere. Just using a pull cut with the wing of the tool again, I find it works really well, especially for stuff like this. Not coming in like this, working with the wing of the tool. Okay, so I've just taken some of the material away, defining the foot. The actual shape of the foot meeting the piece, I'll worry about that later. I just wanted to get this set now. Brown nose scraper works really nicely for this. Okay, now we're moving on to my favourite time, sanding. If you have an extraction system, dust collection unit, whatever you want to call it, air filtration system, a breathing mask, a window, a hoover, use it, because dust is only going to make you ill. Okay, I've just turned the lathe speed down to the slow speed. On this lathe it's 178 RPM, very specific. I'm going to start with 150 grit. The bottom of this dish to 320. I'm just going to oil it now and it should look rather lovely. Not bad, eh? I'll put the spindle lock on. I'm just going to try and unscrew it from the worm chuck. Righty-ho, it will never go back on the same now. That's the back. It's been sanded up to 600. And that's the front I haven't done yet. Okay, I've just put the lathe speed up. I had it running last time when I did all the back, I had it running at 1200. I've just put it on 1800 now. Spindle lock off, set the lathe in forward, not reverse. That'll be alright. Right, what I'm going to do is have a quick think and decide how wide I want the rim. Okay, I've decided to go for, I think that's about 40mm for the rim, and now I'm just going to really gently dish this out and make sure I don't go through the bottom, because that sucks. What I'm doing there is I'm just putting slightly different shape on it so that this is the highest point and then it dips down slightly and round it in so it almost mimics the outside of the bowl, so it will come like this. There we go, turn the speed down to 1200 RPM. Okay, so there we go, I've established the rim, I've got the curve on it. That's quite a good finish. this little papery bit here. That'll come off when I sand it. I'm going to finish hollowing out the inside of this dish. There's not a lot left to do. And then go through the sanding and finishing. Round nose scraper. So I've got a really nice finish on the bottom of the bowl now from using the round nose scraper, one of my favourite tools. The tiniest nubbin, so tiny that I'm just going to sand it out by hand. Then I'll start sanding the inside of the bowl. Okay, you're now riding tailstock style. I've moved the camera mount to where the tailstock would be of the lathe, but I've taken it off at the moment. Completely, I say completely, I can still feel it. That has now completely removed that little nubbin. I've got a low battery. I'm just going to do a tiny bit of sanding and then I'll skip it, and whilst I'm sanding it I'll put the camera on charge, and hopefully by the time I'm done sanding it would have charged up enough for me to just show you the finishing and the surprise at the end of the video. Whoa. $150 grit. Let's start sanding. Okay. This is going to take a while. Okay, so I've just finished sanding the bowl up to 600 grit. I've gone all the way through all the grits. I started at 150 up to 600. Forward and reverse sanded. This lathe has both. I'm just going to put some oil on it and hopefully we'll see it come to life. And it should look really nice. Just using food safe oil that I use for just about everything I turn that has the potential to be used. It ticks the boxes. It's food safe. You can serve on it, you can eat off it if you want to scratch it with your knife and fork. You can do whatever you like with it really, within reason. But also it's a really clear finish. It doesn't yellow the timber too much. This is already a yellowy timber anyway really, but it hasn't really changed the colour, it's just brought the grain out. Danish oil is good as well. This is just food safe, Danish oil isn't. I think it's the drying agents in it. But yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give this a few coats and then I'll come back and let you see the finished piece off the lathe. I'm just going to touch up the back as well, I think. Back in a sec. Okay, so I've taken the dish off the lathe. I've just drizzled some oil on the top. I'm just going to give it a quick buff. I've got a load of rag, I've folded it and rolled it up into a nice pad. I'm just going to give it a good buff, lots of circles, and then finishing strokes with the grain. And I'm going to flip it back over and just show you the inside and give it another quick buff. So it's all had about 2 or 3 coats now. I think we're good on the bottom of the bowl. Okay, time to flip it over. Here we go. I don't know if you can see that, that's really shining nicely in the light there. This is Lacewood, that's what I was told it was when I bought it. It's basically just got a squillion raised cells in it. This is the first piece I've ever turned on that new lathe behind me. Fantastic lathe, really good, really heavy duty, no vibration, chuck was great, and the piece is fantastic. I'll just get a tape measure and we can go over some dimensions quick. Okay, so yeah, 13.5 inches in diameter, or about 345 mil, something like that, 340 mil. For the metric people out there, I work in both, whichever's closest. That's the end of the dish. 2 coats of chestnut food safe oil. I buffed the inside on the lathe, and I went over it quick by hand again. And because I re-sanded part of the outside of the lathe, re-sanded the outside of the bowl on the lathe, just 'cause it fluffed up a bit where the workshop's a bit damp, and I had finished it a couple of days ago. I just went over it quick, the same grit as the front, so it's all been done to 600, food safe oil, 2 coats, and buffed, and yeah, very happy. Next important thing. Let's go have a look. I managed to fix my chainsaw. The point being, now I have use of my chainsaw, I'm probably going to do some big bowls, rough cut them with the chainsaw, and I might even do some videos with it. So stay tuned. Next couple episodes I might do some larger pieces and go through how to mark them out, choosing the right timber, getting the most out of your bowl blank, and cutting it relatively round with a chainsaw. It's fantastic, I'm really happy and proud. It makes a really loud noise and it smells great. So yeah, that's a surprise, a bit overhyped. It's a big deal to me because I missed my chainsaw and now it's working. So there we go, that's the end of episode 2 of In the Shed with Chris. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, post, repost, tweet, whistle, whatever. Yeah. Thank you very much. See you next time. "13.5 inch diameter Lacewood bowl. Giant pile of shavings. Wormhole. Looks like a star has puked all over your bowl. Ow. Sanding. You join me back with the lathe again, a bit close to that sharp edge with my face.
Fluffy.
What?
Go! It's recording.